Okay, the first FA Cup semi-finals finished 1-0 to Manchester City. The goal by Gabriel Jesus is a highlight reel goal. That will be one of the top 20 goals of the season, if not in the top 10 for some people. The build-up play is quick and incisive. And the diving header, it's a great finish. Great ball by De Bruyne across the box, and also a great ball from Laporte to find out Bernardo Silva to then just roll it into De Bruyne's path. So those four players deserve a lot of credit for how they created and scored that goal. And that was actually the best attack of the game. Man City had a lot of the ball today and didn't do enough with it at times. Only 4 shots on target, including Jesus' goal, which was the only shot on target they had in the first half. That says something. Brighton didn't collapse, didn't give up. They were solid in defence, in fact, very, very organised. I actually felt Brighton were better in defence than Man City, because when Brighton put crosses and free kicks and corners into the box, Man City looked a little bit more nervy in defence than Brighton did. That's a personal opinion. I'm not sold always on Man City's defence at times. For a team that scores as many goals as they do, defensively, they are nervy at times, and they look nervy today at times. Otamendi shanking his one over the bar. That could have gone anywhere. And Laporte got lucky with that clearance under the bar. How he's cleared that, that's more by luck than judgment. I don't think he meant that. Glenn Murray, I think possibly I know he's an experienced player, and I know he's a leader and a talisman for Brighton, but Locadia and Igazire, for example, possibly should have started for their pace, because Man City did look troubled in defence on the counter-attack. Man City, however, after they scored that first goal, I'm surprised they didn't get 2 or 3. I'm surprised they didn't carve Brighton open. A lot of possession, didn't do enough with it. I would say that this was probably one of the worst Man City performances I've seen in a while, or they could have had a lot of the ball, didn't do enough with it. Only 4 shots on targets in total by Man City, with 70% possession over the whole game. Okay, yeah, they won the game, but it wasn't their most free-flowing and decisive victory. Brighton had their period where if Glenn Murray gets on that ball rather than Emerick Laporte, we have a different game. Also, of note, the VAR review for Kyle Walker. For me, that's a red card. He attempted a headbutt. The fact he got away with the yellow, he's very lucky. And Man City are lucky, because that would have changed the outcome of the game possibly, and possibly how the game was played. Because at that point, Brighton were giving it a go. Otamendi just shanked one over the bar just before that in a clearance, and Brighton were having one of their first purple patches of bit of possession themselves. Jan Mash, fouls him. I'm not disputing that. Kyle Walker's reaction is unnecessary and stupid. And again, in yet another FA Cup game this season, we are debating VAR and its use. For me, that's a red card. The fact they reviewed it said to me that was going to be a red card, and they come back with a yellow. There's a clear motion of a headbutt there. The fact Jan Mash doesn't make much of it, to his credit, and the fact that Kyle Walker doesn't really make contact. It's a laughable attempt at a headbutt, but it's a headbutt attempt nonetheless. By the letter of the law, that's a red card. How that's been given as a yellow by VAR, only the video official will actually know. It'd be nice if us fans knew the reasoning why it was a yellow. It would be nice to know. Is VAR being used effectively? The amount of time taken. They had a long look at that as well. That wasn't one look and going red or yellow. That was a long look, multiple replays. And in real time, that's a red. Martin Keown said real time, that's a red. The fact it was slowed down so slowly for the replays, show it in real time, that's a red. And I'm very surprised that the referee didn't send him off in the first place, because for me that's a red card. And that would have overshadowed the game anyway, but that is a big talking point in the game that has actually had an outcome on it, because had Kyle Walker gone off, that means Man City have to reorganise their defence, and he stays on, which means they keep 11 players on the field. Big talking point. Final note thing day is Brighton had 10,000 more fans than Man City. They sold about 35,000 tickets officially through their allocation. Man City sold 25,000 through their allocation. A lot of empty seats, only 71,000 or so actually at the game. Very visible, these empty seats, because a lot of them were behind the benches in the Club Wembley seats where the corporate seats are. Really visible how many empty seats there were. It wasn't if they were in the upper tiers where you can't really see them. Very visible. And empty seats, as I say, look really crap for live TV. So that's something that, again, tomorrow's game as well is going to be key to see how many empty seats there are. Because there's a big call to move the semi-finals back to neutral Football League grounds like Villa Park. And I'm one of those who actually thinks that's probably a good decision. I think they're trying to cash in with Wembley and make as much money as possible. And the empty seats were telling today, nowhere near capacity. But there we go. Man City, do they deserve the win? Probably. They had more of the ball. They had more shots on goal, but I think they didn't play at their best. And Brighton, I don't think Brighton played at their best either. I think both sides, it's been a long season. And the midweek games, I think, had a bearing on how this game was played out. De Bruyne didn't finish the game. He's only finished three 90 minutes, 3 games this season. Kyle Walker subbed off. There were players who were blowing and struggling, and squad depth by both sides has been tested today. But there we go, 1-0 to Man City. I was left slightly underwhelmed, if I'm honest. But there we go. Thank you very much for watching. Place your thoughts below, and I'll have some more videos for you soon.